it's so important that you have an amazing tax accountant to help you just generally with your tax and your business, but also to work alongside with your certified Profit First professional. We are part of your financial team and we are helping you achieve your financial goals. And we always work with your tax accountant or with any other financial professionals that you're working with, because we all have our specialties and we are all working towards your goals, and we should all be communicating to make sure that we're all on the same page and everybody has the right information to do their jobs best. Today, I'm talking about Profit Distribution Day. So in Profit First, the first day of the new quarter is what we call Profit Distribution Day. So that is where we have a look at what funds we've put aside, like what cash we've put into our profit account. And then we take that cash and we do a couple of different things with it depending on your situation. Now, what we hear all the time is that we never have any money left over for profit. We can barely pay bills. Like, how do we put money aside for profit? And so what I want you to have a think about is when you're successfully running Profit First in your business, you're starting with 1% of the income that comes into your business and you're putting that into your profit account. Now, for most business owners, that's not going to make or break paying bills, but what it's going to do is start getting you in the habit of building a profitable business. You're telling yourself that you're prioritizing profit and you're putting that cash into that account. So when you get to the profit distribution day, in my instance, the first distribution I had was $112. So not a huge amount of money, but again, it is about the habit of putting 1% aside. And depending on what your goals are in the business will depend on what you do with that profit distribution. So some of the things we hear about for those who are already running Profit First in their business and who haven't been working with a certified Profit First professional, we often hear is, I've put money there, but I haven't touched it. Or I don't have enough money to put money aside for profit, so I just don't bother doing Profit Distribution Day. Or when the money is there, I have then used that money to put back into my business. And what I'm here to tell you today is that what we want for you to do is to know exactly how much to put into that account. As I said, start with 1% of all income coming into your business and put that into your profit account each and every time you have income coming in. Now, if you can't have income coming into your business multiple times a week, choose a day, tally up what's come in and move 1% aside. If you don't feel like you know that you've got enough in there for anything important, like me, I had $112, please still do the transfer. It's really important to get into that habit. And if you then are thinking about, oh, I'm just going to pay this bill with it, or I'm just going to reinvest it into my business, I really encourage you not to do that, because you're then getting out of the habit and undoing the hard work that you've done. So like I said, what do we do on Profit Distribution Day? So the first thing we do is we have a look at what amount of money is in our profit account. Now, again, depending on what your goals are in your business, there's a couple of different ways, or there's quite a few different ways actually, where you will take that money and what purpose you will use it for. And so I'll use myself as an example. So with my $112, my goal was to pay down some ATO debt that I had at the time when I first started doing Profit First 9-10 years ago now. So again, $112 doesn't feel like it'll make a huge difference. Now, I was still maintaining my regular payments for the ATO debt. I got to Profit Distribution Day and I had $112 there. So my decision was that I would take half of that and just put an extra small lump sum payment against that ATO debt. And the other 50%, I took that and that was into my personal account. And the goal is that we spend that money on ourselves, or we put it towards something that we're saving towards personally. We don't put it back into the business. Remember, we want to build profitable businesses. We don't want to keep propping them up with funds we've set aside for specific purposes. The second thing I did is I made it a priority. So even though I was thinking about that it's not going to make much of a difference, what's an extra $60 odd to the ATO account? I'll just put the whole amount there. I don't need anything else. I stuck with the process and I made sure that I transferred the 50% to my personal account, and the 50% I made an extra payment to my ATO debt there as well. And I kept putting the 1% aside each and every time going forward. I had made sure that I had put a reminder in my calendar for Profit Distribution Day and to celebrate the distribution, even when it was only $112 to start with. And I made it a priority. And rather than thinking about, $60 odd won't make a difference to my ATO debt, I celebrated that I was able to put an extra payment to the ATO debt, because any extra payment to debt makes a difference. Any extra payment to anything like that is going to make a difference. And the third thing I did was I kept it consistent. So I made sure that even though I did my first distribution and it didn't feel like a whole lot of money, I consistently put the percent aside into my profit account each and every week. So when the next profit distribution rolled around, it was a little bit more. And I won't lie, it was a little bit hard to take that money because I didn't feel like it was enough. I didn't feel like it'd make a difference. But the second profit distribution time rolled around, it felt a little bit more like I'd made a bit more of a dent. And so again, I took 50% for me, and I took 50% and added that to my ATO debt payment plan, made an extra payment there. And I kept doing that consistently. For me, it took me 3 profit distribution quarters before I felt like I firstly deserved to be able to take some money from the business as a profit distribution. And secondly, that I actually felt like I was making a difference to my ATO debt as well. And everybody moves through that at different times. I see in my clients that 2 to 3 profit distributions is about average before it feels like we're actually getting traction. Some on the first profit distribution get it and love it, and really then helps them take it up a notch in profit first. It helps them focus more on, how do I reduce my expenses? How do I, make sure that I keep my bookkeeping up to date? How do I make sure that I, do that price rise that I've been putting off? How do I do those things in my business that feel a little bit hard, but we know is going to make our business more profitable? As the business owner, it is our job to do those hard things. The tip is we don't need to do it by ourselves. We don't need to do it all alone. Now, your profit distribution will look differently depending on your business, your size of your business, when you started profit first, and most importantly, what your goals are. And this is why it's really important to work with a certified profit first professional, because they're going to help you set up your profit account correctly with the correct starting allocation, but also help you really hone in on your goals and create a plan to be able to hit those goals time and time again. Now, again, I always say I don't have a magic wand. We don't have a magic wand. But by having a clear goal in place for those profit distributions, make it easier to stick to, make it easier for us to get our mindset right around our business, and make it easier for us to make a difference in our business sooner. The profit distribution, that, as I said, for me, it went 50% to me and then 50% to paying down debt. Once I had gotten rid of that debt, it was then important for me to build buffers and to build my vault account. And I would then put 50% for myself and I would put 50% to my vault. And once I built that vault up to the level in which I wanted, so for those who aren't aware of Profit First, the vault account is, I refer to it as when it hits the fan. That is okay, these specific things have happened, and I'm going to access that money only in these certain circumstances. And for me, those circumstances are not, I was a bit short on paying bills this week, so I'm just going to take some money out of there. The vault is for very specific purposes. When something doesn't go to plan and something is really unexpected, that is what the vault is for. So I then, as I said, put 50% to me and I put 50% to my vault to build that to a level. And from there, I then have progressed and gone, great, now I want to have a bigger vault. Now I want to have bigger buffers. And over time, I will also then adjust the profit distribution. And sometimes I will take a larger personal distribution from that account, depending on what I'm working on personally. So for myself and our family, travel is really important to us. So now the profit distribution goes towards our travel. Now, what I also want to just touch on here is keep in mind that a profit distribution that we talk about in Profit First will need to be labeled in a particular way that suits you and your business and your structure. And yes, there will be tax potentially payable on that. And this is why we always, always, always encourage you to have an amazing tax accountant that you are having tax planning conversations with at least once a year, usually around the April mark. So you can sit down with them and say, look, let's say I took wages of this amount and I've paid PAYG of this amount, and I've also taken this money from the business as a profit first profit distribution. Can you please have a look based on that information? How much tax do I need to make sure I've put aside for that? And again, as I say, they may label it differently, and that is totally okay because now they're looking at that money that you've taken from the business from a tax view, and that will be labeled and handled in a particular way that works best for you and your situation. And again, I cannot stress enough, it's so, so important that you have an amazing tax accountant to help you just generally with your tax and your business, but also to work alongside with your certified Profit First professional. We are part of your financial team and we are helping you achieve your financial goals. And we always work with your tax accountant or with any other financial professionals that you're working with because we all have our specialties and we are all working towards your goals, and we should all be communicating to make sure that we're all on the same page and everybody has the right information to do their jobs best. So please don't be scared of the profit distribution. Please start with 1% into your profit account. And even if you only start now and there's 2 weeks left of the quarter, do your profit percentage and take your profit percentage, so your profit distribution on the first of the quarter. And I would love for you to reach out and send me an email, katie@profitfirstaustralia.com.au, and in the subject line, I want profit distribution, and I would love to hear what you do with that. It may be something simple as, I had $20, so I went and had a coffee and a cake. It may be that you've been doing Profit First for much longer and you have a much larger profit distribution. I would love to hear about it. Whenever you are listening to this podcast and you have got to the profit distribution stage, please always feel free to send me an email.